Hello, my name is Logan Shaw, and welcome to Logan's Story. Today we're talking about Disneyland in the 1950s. Thank you for coming. Let's get into it. Okay, so Disneyland in the 1950s, movie-wise, merchandise-wise, theme park-wise, notoriety-wise, ends up being one of the biggest decades for Disney in total. Because a lot of things changed, and a lot of things became new in the Disney company. And because of that, it ended up being one of the biggest things to ever happen in the Disney company in terms of the history. But the thing is, when you think about Disney and its notoriety to fame and fortune, it realized that, well, Walt Disney too, but the company itself realized that the shift in the 40s really benefited from it. And honestly, everything really benefited from the war. Even though the war was a tumultuous time and a lot of people died, it did wonders for America as a whole, especially for Disney. But what does that mean to be in the phase of fame and fortune? What does that mean to be living by the next steps in the business? Well, here's the thing. When you have the livability to do what you want to do as a company, you actually give off more than what you can perceive. And that perceivance is key. When you want something done with a vision, when you want something done with your vision, it ends up being a little bit impossible to build, but in some ways it is possible to build. For the reason being of, well, Walt Disney's intuition, Walt Disney's tenacity, as well as the tenacity and intuition of everyone he hired. But what are the little nooks and crannies of this? What can we take away from Disneyland in the 1950s? Well, let's go into detail. So, when you think about Disney in the 1950s, it's a grand extravaganza of idea after idea after idea. And after the films came to scale, there was a big announcement towards every single thing he did. Some things Disney had to hide, like the location of Disneyland, and later became more and more noticeable by the public eye of where he was going to build it, or even if he was going to build it. But park-wise, movie-wise, entertainment-wise, merchandise-wise even, this is the sole purpose of Disney in terms of it all. And Disney in the 1950s was Disney commercialized. And we all know about Disney in terms of the commercialization of his said product, which was movies, which was a theme park, which was little cartoons, which was anything you could possibly think of. In the 1950s, it cemented Disney to the ground. It cemented it forevermore. And because of that, we have a Disneyland that we can freely go to now. And here's the thing, Disneyland was for everybody. I mean, in the 1950s, Disneyland didn't segregate people from coming in the park. Everyone was allowed. As long as you had the price of admission and were able to have fun in Disney, everyone was allowed. I bet you didn't know that, did you? But here's the thing. When you look into Disney's history, from the 1920s until the 1950s, this is Disney's Hollywood mark. And this is what made Disney what it was and is for future moments to come. And because of that, Disney had many different things that he wanted to do. And we'll get to that in the next video. But just know, in the wake of the crowd, Disney stood tall. Disney stood up tall towards everything and anything that was to be. The strikes, the wars, the many different money issues that Disney had to go through all came to be in the 40s, but ended up being a solidification of success in the 50s. Sorry about that. But what does that mean for you and I? Application, of course. So, you want to build something, and with time, it can be built. With time, you will have something bigger and better than ever before. With time, you can do amazing things. And with time, those things that are being done for your favor and for yourself can be bigger and better than you could ever think of. Disneyland was that. That's why this decade is the Disneyland years. Because it started with the mouse, but then it started again with LogansStory. But then when the park was made, everything changed. Everything changed for the company as a whole. And it kept growing and growing and growing and growing from there. It takes steady practice, it takes steadfastness, it takes patience to get where you want to be in life. It takes time and hard work. If you can do the hard work, you can do whatever you want to do in life. So, what are you doing to work hard to get what you want? What is the next big flip or change in your company? What is the next big flip or change for yourself? And that can mean a lot of things. But one thing in particular that you should take away from this is this. don't give up. Because if you give up, you're never going to reach the sky of skies. You're never going to go to the depths of the sea. You can never be able to fly. And doesn't everyone want to fly? Thank you for filling out the application. And let's close out. Thank you for my Logan Story. Today we're going to the events at Disney. There are more events at a later date, so keep an eye out for those. Also, the mission is 1,000 subscribers. You guys help me get there by hitting the share, like, and subscribe button right under the screen. Also, by hitting the bell. Leave a comment if you can too. Thank you again, and peace.